Everybody, Jason Davis here, live at McIntyre's in Washington, D.C., covering quarterfinals of the World Cup in 2018. Hope you're enjoying our coverage here on Compass Football. Make sure you're liking and sharing everything that we're doing here. Taking in the games, getting ready for this 2 o'clock kickoff between Belgium and Brazil, and we've got lineups. We certainly want to look at those. But we got to review the first game of the day between Uruguay and France, a very interesting game indeed, as France takes care of Uruguay 2-0. Now, look, this wasn't the most thrilling match of the World Cup so far, and we saw France's quality come through in the end with Antoine Griezmann getting the icing goal after Varane with a very nice headed goal in the 40th minute. Fantastic set piece from Varane there, Raphael Varane of Real Madrid, to give France the lead over Uruguay, who definitely missed Edinson Cavani on the day and certainly could have been a little bit more dangerous in front of goal themselves. They didn't have the attacking prowess necessary to overcome France. And France, they're going to not necessarily wow you, despite all that attacking talent they have with Kylian Mbappe, Antoine Griezmann, Olivier Giroud up top. They didn't do that today. They played a practical game. They got the set-piece goal, great service from Griezmann. Varane gets on the end of it, and France moves on to the semifinals, where they will take on the winner of the match that's just about to kick off between Brazil and Uruguay, two teams that have a ton of attacking talent themselves. Certainly, we know that Belgium can score goals, or Brazil with Neymar and Gabriel Jesus and Coutinho and Willian, all of that talent there. Let's, in fact, look at the lineups here. We got the Brazil lineup first. At the back, obviously, Alisson in goal. Fagner, Thiago Silva, Miranda, and Marcelo across the back. Marcelo returning to the lineup there after his injury kept him out of Brazil's last match of the World Cup. Paulinho, Fernandinho, and Coutinho across the middle. Fernandinho, the steal there. Coutinho, Paulinho. We'll get into the attack a little bit more. Certainly Coutinho we expect to pop up in those advanced areas. Willian on the right, Gabriel Jesus in the middle, and Neymar on the left. Now, this is, again, Gabriel Jesus. There's some question as to whether or not Roberto Firmino should start for Brazil. It is still Jesus there doing the job for Chiche at the striker position. He does the work. I mean, I think that's what a lot of people will tell you, that the thing about Gabriel Jesus is not necessarily that he's going to go and score you a ton of goals. He's been obviously brilliant for Manchester City in the past, but that he is going to do the work necessary to create the space and give opportunities for people like Neymar. Today, Neymar, how many fouls will he face? How much play acting will there be? Will he be the focus of the Belgian defense? Of course, we expect him to get a lot of attention. Let's look at that Belgian defense and the rest of this lineup for Belgium. They're in a 3-4-3, three center backs for Vertonghen, Kompany, and Alderweireld at the back. You got Meunier, Witsel, Fellaini, and Chadli in the midfield for De Bruyne pushed up onto the right-hand side, so a little bit more of a forward position for Kevin De Bruyne in this match. Of course, Lukaku at the top as a point of the spear, and Eden Hazard on the left-hand side being another creative attacking weapon for Roberto Martinez and Belgium. This is going to be a fascinating match. We expect it to be the most entertaining match of the quarterfinals, but of course you never know, and this World Cup has thrown up a few surprises already. So this has been pretty solid in this World Cup. You know that Neymar can always pop up. If you go back to that round of 16 match for Brazil, it was all about Mexico not taking advantage of the Chucky Lozano. They didn't have the pieces to make Brazil pay for maybe some lax defending. So is this an opportunity? Is this a situation where Belgium maybe has some better pieces there to really force Brazil to sit on their back, actually realizing itself into goals for Belgium? We are, of course, they took down Switzerland, and while Switzerland doesn't have the attacking prowess of England, they don't have the goal scorers like Harry Kane in the lineup. You have to think that Sweden's still going to be difficult to play. They've been organized in their entire World Cup campaign. They've been organized in their qualifying campaign to get here, and now they have a chance to make a semifinal at the World Cup. Brazil really is a pretty tough defensive team. Be responsible for more defending. In fact, in my lineup graphic here, probably should have dropped those four players a little bit deeper just to give you a sense. Roberto Martinez pushing Kevin De Bruyne up the field to be an attacking element, but Also bringing in some more of that defensive midfield presence there with Fellaini and Witsel, who are going to do more of that dirty work. Chadley certainly dropping in. You're not going to get a whole lot of width from this team in the midfield. I mean, Hazard and De Bruyne are going to have to drop deep in order to pick up the ball in wide areas, and that will leave Lukaku on his own up top. So that's a lot of questions here for Belgium and Roberto Martinez facing the challenge of trying to make the semifinals, living up to that golden generation status that they've earned themselves. And certainly, again, this is already a successful World Cup on some level for Belgium, but this is the hurdle that you look at and say, okay, well, that they really do have a golden generation. This is where they need to make it count. This is where they need to jump in and show against a Brazilian team that's, again, a pre-tournament favorite. And now 16 into the quarterfinals here. Of course, we now know that France is advancing. So take a look. When you take a look at this graphic, remember France has already beaten Uruguay. But you Brazil, Belgium down on the other side, Russia, Croatia, Sweden, and England. And again, Russia, Croatia, Sweden, and England, the weaker side of the bracket, with Uruguay and France. The winner of that game being France has to take on Brazil and Belgium. So this is going to be fascinating to see. And now, and of course, England, we just talked about there with their attempt to break through after winning on penalties and breaking that cycle of their poor history on penalties over Colombia. A very difficult physical game for them. Can they do it again in a difficult physical game when they take on Sweden in this next match? It might not be as physical or as dirty as it was against Colombia, but it certainly won't be a fun match for the English. All right, we're getting ready for kickoff here. We are live at McIntyre's in Washington, D.C. If you are in D.C., come and hang out with me. Let's do that. And buy me a beer, or I'll buy you a beer. One of those two things, and we'll hang out and we'll watch the World Cup in 2018. So there you go. All right. I want to thank everyone for watching Compass Football. Make sure, again, that you share the love and let everybody know about what we're doing here at Compass Football. Daily shows coming in the future with Davis up front, covering the European season once we get underway there. The World's Game is right here on Compass Football. We're going to be adding more shows in the near future, whether that be on Mexican football, on English football, on all kinds of different things. So, yeah, let me just get the graphic out of the way there. All right, thank you very much for watching. Like, subscribe, and I'll talk to you guys after the game. Set you up for the semifinals here on Compass Football.